We would never pull onto a busy freeway and let go of the steering wheel, trusting the car to drive itself to our destination. Douglas McKee, author of Mental Mechanics, says the biggest problems in our lives come from doing just that with our thinking, allowing automatic thoughts and negative emotions to drive our day.
We all want to live happy, peaceful, and prosperous lives, but so few of us ever actually make it. It's not because we don't work hard enough or because we're not willing, because Americans actually are working more hours and working harder than any other people on the planet. But something always seems to step in that sabotages our hopes and dreams, and most of us don't have an idea about what it is. Some people think they do. And some people actually have a name picked out for the reason they failed. Wife, ex-wife, husband, ex-husband, job, boss, kids, whatever. But actually it's not those things at all. It's the negative emotions we have about those things. Now, why do we allow our negative emotions to dictate our lives? It's because we've been taught three things about emotions. Number one, that emotions are fact. Two, that they're uncontrollable. And three, that they're automatic. Well, I'm here to tell you today that those things are not true. And the proof is that every time you have ever done something successful, you relied upon facts and reasoning. Now, what do I mean by success? It can mean a lot of different things. Driving to work here in Los Angeles is a good example. If you arrive on time without a ticket and without a wreck, that's a success. Yesterday afternoon, I was out on the freeway, and I saw some people in their cars, and it wasn't just one. They were doing this, all that stuff. And it didn't take much lip-reading skill to understand what they were saying to each other. But they probably made it to work safely. So technically, it was a success. But if they had done a lot less of this, they could have probably even enjoyed their success. Now, to be certain, there are lots of different kinds of successes and degrees of success. Some people are phenomenally successful in parts of their lives and unsuccessful in others. Donald Trump's a good example. The guy can make money fall out of the sky. Well, actually, he makes it rise up out of the ground and stick up into the sky. But he can't have a stable marriage. Now, why is that? Well, it's because he obviously uses one set of techniques and thought skills while he's making money, and a very different one for his relationships. If he would take the same approach and apply the same skills that he uses to make money to his relationships would be worth millions, not just cost him millions. The little farming community I grew up in North Central Kansas was incredibly musical. It was so musical that even the 8th grade put on operettas every spring. In the year I was in the 8th grade, the operetta was going to be the HMS Pinafore, and I was going to try out for the lead. Actually, the lead was in the bag. And that was in the bag because the vocal teacher had heard me sing ever since I was a little kid and knew I could do it. He just told me that I had to go through the audition process like everyone else, so it'd be fair. That was cool. But as the audition got closer, all of a sudden I noticed I started becoming afraid of the audition process. Why, I didn't know. But I found myself saying, you're probably going to get up there and open your mouth and nothing will happen. Well, you can see what's coming. I got up there, I opened my mouth, not a sound. The pianist starts all over again, I open my mouth again, not a sound. The only thing I remember about the rest of the audition was this feeling in my chest that I had just died. And the look on the vocal instructor's face as he was looking up at me going, what happened? Well, needless to say, I didn't get the lead. I didn't get a solo part, but I did get to sing in the chorus. What I did during that audition was what most of us do every day. I let my brain convince me that something was true that was not true. I let my fear convince me that I could not sing. I let my emotions, my negative emotions, sabotage my dream of singing the lead. Shortly after the audition was over and the operetta was over, I actually figured out what I had done. I had psyched myself out. This was before psyching oneself out had even been invented. And I made up my mind at that moment that I was never, ever going to allow my fear to interfere with my singing again. And it never did. I went on to sing in college, I sang weddings for years, and I had a blast doing it. When I was in the eighth grade, I had actually figured out the tool which would have stopped fear, anxiety, and stress in my life. But I only applied it to my singing. It wasn't until years later, actually when I started writing my book, that I went, okay, I could have applied that tool to every aspect in my life. And that's what I am here to tell you today, is that there are tools available that work, that are simple, that will help you do away with the fear, the anxiety, and the stress in your life. We've been talking about the nature of emotions, and since emotions are not facts, that there is no possible way that we can rely upon them to make the best decisions in our life. Now, what I want to do next is an exercise that will demonstrate actually the real basis for emotions, how we form them and how we store them. So everybody get comfy, kind of lean back, close your eyes, and then just listen to me for a little bit. Okay, nice deep breath. Okay, now I want you to imagine that you're in your kitchen. And you walk across the kitchen to the refrigerator door. And you open the refrigerator door, and right there on the shelf in front of you is a big, juicy lemon. You pick the lemon up, and you can feel its coolness. You can feel that unique texture that a lemon has. It's kind of like a little oily, rubbery. And you take the lemon across the kitchen to where you prepare your fruits and vegetables, and you take your favorite knife, and you slice the lemon lengthwise into two halves, and the juice squirts out. Then you turn the lemon on its side, and you cut it into neat little slices. Then pick up a slice and hold it under your nose and inhale that lemony smell. Now bite into the lemon. Feel the juice. Okay, you can open your eyes. Whose mouths are watering?
Right here, sir.
Just about everybody. Okay, I want to demonstrate another facet of emotions that is really, really important. And I want you to please take a look over here at this picture of this beautiful sunset. I took this picture in our backyard. My wife, Gloria, and I stood out there for 30, 45 minutes watching this marvelous thing unfold. And it was really, really beautiful. By the way, is anybody's mouth still watering? No. There it is. Emotions are temporary. One of the most important things. When emotions are only able to be sustained as long as we're thinking about the thing that generated them. If we change our mind when we feel emotions starting to creep into our thinking, we will immediately feel better. And that's what we should do. What we've been doing today so far is learning how to establish a different kind of relationship with our emotions. And we have been learning tools and skills that will allow us to choose our thoughts and think in ways that do not create the negative emotions that we have to deal with.